So what do you want to talk about today?
What do I want to talk about today?
Well, you're usually yakking on about something.
What day is it?
11th of April?
11th of April? I thought it was the 12th.
No, today's the 11th.
It's the day of the anniversary of the Titanic?
The 12th?
The day's the 12th. You just told me the 11th.
No, today is the 11th.
Oh, tomorrow's the 12th.
Tomorrow is the 12th.
Oh, well, that's close enough. Anyway, my God, you're weird.
Oh, I'm weird? You're the one who thinks it's the day in advance.
Okay. Well, this is my Titanic story. I was a change of life baby. My mother was born in 1912. So she was like 43, I guess, 42 when I was born. So anyway, like, you know, some of you have probably seen some of my other videos. You know, I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and Halifax is this. It's played a historical role in war and maritime disasters because it's like Nova Scotia's right in the Atlantic, and we're the closest to the North Atlantic. So when the Titanic sunk, they collected up the bodies. They brought them to Halifax. Not all of them. I've been to the graveyards. My dad took me out to St. John Cemetery there, and you know, you have all these neat little rows of crosses, and they're all Titanic. I was going to say survivors, but victims of the Titanic. Anyway, at the time the Titanic was sinking, my grandmother was pregnant with my mother, and my grandfather worked for the railroad, and basically, you know, his job was to ship out the caskets with all the, they had them stored in a big warehouse in Halifax, down at the train yards, and so he brought my you know, the morbidness of the people of that time. My grandmother wanted to see the caskets, so he brought her down to see the caskets, and she's pregnant with my mom. And John Jacob Astor, who was probably one of the richest men in the world, he was there. And my grandfather put her up on to sit on John Jacob Astor's casket. And when she was on it, she said, "Well, his money doesn't do him any good now," in this bitter, bitter tone. Like, she didn't care about the poor man had died, and you know, and all the other people that died. She was just so bitter over his wealth, right? And it just came right through. And I've heard this story. My mom used to tell this story. I heard it from my grandmother because she didn't die until 1970, and you know, she would talk about it, and she had a sense of joy that one of the richest men in the world was dead and she was alive. But my mother was actually in the warehouse, and as a fetus, of course, with the victims of the Titanic. And so anyway, that's my Titanic story, and I thought it might be of interest to somebody. It kind of shows the mindset of my family, how bitter they are, because, you know, my mother actually had a joy over the fact that this poor man was, you know, died, and you know, and it didn't. You know, for me, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. If you die, right? And it could be a tragedy, especially in something like that. But anyway, that's my Titanic story, and till the next time.